Shalom, brothers and sisters, and once again, this is Brother Brandon Judah Duffy, representing the Solid Foundation, bringing you another video. And this lesson is going to be based upon reincarnation. I'm going to give you another lesson on reincarnation. Not a long lesson, but a short lesson, just to reconsider some things of reincarnation, to let you see that it's a fact, man. Okay, and I want to say all praises due to Yahweh Shem Shai, double honors to the elders, salutations to the Akim. So let's get into the lesson. What you're looking at right here is basically reincarnation in the Bible. You see that right there, reincarnation in the Bible. Now, re means back, which is again, and then you see in, which means to possess or contain, and then you see it's carnation, which basically when you look at that, you can see that it has connections to pertaining to flesh. So carnation has connections to pertaining to flesh. So reincarnation, re, back, and possess or contain, incarnation of flesh. Back, possessing the flesh. That's what reincarnation simply means. And we're gonna give you various topics on this lesson, man. So let's continue to move on. Let's go to Ecclesiastes. This is Ecclesiastes 4. And we'll show you 16. So that's Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verse 16. It says, there is no end of all the people, even of all that have been before them. They also that come after shall not rejoice in him. Surely this also is vanity and vexation of spirit. So Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verse 16 says, there is no end of all people. Now, why would it make that statement? Because you basically have 3 to 4 generations of people that keeps coming back on the earth. Okay, the Most High it's not any new souls out there. It's not any new spirits out there, man. The Most High has 3 or 4 generations that keeps coming back on the earth. 3 or 4 generations of souls that keeps coming back on the earth, man. After 3 or 4 generations, those souls keep basically recycling, coming back on the earth. All right. Okay, so let's go back to Ecclesiastes 4 and 16. That's when it says, there is no end of all the people. There's no end of all the people because the spirit is pure energy, man. And the spirit cannot never be destroyed. It's just the body can be destroyed. We'll show you that. That's why it says there's no end of all the people, because you keep coming back on the earth, man. All right, 3 or 4 generations of people. And it says, even of all that have been before them, see? Because it was individuals that was before you, man, on the earth, which came back in the reincarnation. Now I'm going to show you Ecclesiastes 3 and 14. This is Ecclesiastes 3 and 14. Chapter 3 right here. 14 verse. It says, I know that whatsoever God does, it shall be forever. Nothing can be put to it, nor anything take it from it. And God does that man should fear before him. So Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verse 14, it says, I know that whatsoever God does, it shall be forever. Yeah. So basically, whatever the Most High creates, man, is forever. Okay. And it has no ending to it, man. Okay. St. John chapter 9 verse 1. And Yahushua passed by, he saw a man which was blind from his birth. Okay, so this guy, simply, when Yahushua was passing by, there was a blind man, okay, without sight. He was blind from birth, okay, blind from birth. He didn't later on become blind, but he was blind from birth. When his mama basically conceived him and gave birth to him, he came out blind, okay? Blind from birth, from the time he entered into this world. Just keep that in mind. Let's go back to St. John chapter 9, verse 1. Okay? And as Yahushua passed by, he saw a man which was blind from birth. Keep that in mind. And his disciples asked him, saying, Master, who did sin, this man or his parents that he was born blind? Now, his disciple asked him a question concerning verse 2 out of St. John chapter 9. And the question that his disciples asked Yahushua, they was basically saying, okay, Yahushua, this man was blind from birth, so we just want to know a simple question here. Who sinned? Did the man that was born blind sin, or his parents sin? Now, I went over this before. Why would his disciples ask Yahushua that question concerning that blind man, who did sin? Because if he was born blind from birth, how can you sin before you even born, man? How can you sin? It's impossible. How can you sin before you even born? Okay? See, that's what people need to understand. Because how can you sin if you was born blind at birth? You cannot sin before you're born. You can sin after you're born, but you can't sin before you're born. Okay? Or can you sin before you're born? You're going to find out the reason why his disciples asked this question, because his disciples basically, they was intelligent and they was also wise to know basically that any punishment of a man being born blind, any punishment could be basically could only been due to a sin that was committed in a past life, man, or a life before that present birth. That's why his disciples asked that question, man. You be the judge, okay? Because if I walked up and to a man that was born blind from his birth, and I said, who did sin? That won't make sense if a man was born blind, okay, from birth. It wouldn't make sense, all right? So basically, that's why the disciples asked Yahushua that question. They said, well, Master, well, who did sin? This man of his parents. Now we know Yahushua basically said concerning verse 3, let's look into that. St. John chapter 9 verse 3. It says, Yahushua answered, neither had this man sinned nor his parents, but that the works of God should be made manifest in him. So Yahushua basically tells the disciples that this man, no, he didn't sin, nor his parents. But that still doesn't refute the point of reincarnation, man, because the reason why I say this, because that particular guy, even though he was born blind, Yahushua told his disciples it was not him that sinned nor his parents, because he was basically born blind, so the works of the Christ can be manifest, man. But that doesn't refute reincarnation, because if it did refute reincarnation, Yahushua would have told us if when his disciples asked him, Master, who did sin? This man of his parents. If reincarnation was not a fact, Yahushua would have rebuked them on asking that question, man. But he didn't rebuke them. So that shows that reincarnation exists, because basically they asked him, who did sin? Now, why would his disciples even ask the question like that? Because they had 100% knowledge on the doctrine of reincarnation, man. And they not teaching reincarnation today in these churches, because reincarnation is been plastered, okay? It has not been brought out. The rug has been thrown over reincarnation for years and for years and for years, man. All right. But a true believer in the Messiah and someone that has true knowledge of the Bible, they knows about reincarnation, man. So I just wanted to I wanted to bring that out, because why his disciples would be asking him who did sin, even though he told him it wasn't his man's sins or his parents' sins, that still didn't stop the disciples from asking him a question, who did sin? Because they knew basically for a man to come out like that with some type of infirmity, basically he had, they were saying, well, maybe this man, in order for this man to be born blind, this man had to commit some type of transgression in his past life, man. So that just was a quick take on reincarnation, dealing with St. John chapter 9, man. And I just pray that you brothers and sisters will understand it. And until next time, I want to say shalom.